As the 2024 NASCAR season is officially underway, my wife and I are already planning our trips to races for this season. And so far, we've got 4 on our schedule that we're looking to attend. Bristol Motor Speedway's return to the concrete in the spring with the Food City 500, and we are planning a Texas swing as we go to Circuit of the Americas and Texas Motor Speedway this year, and of course Nashville Super Speedway since it's our race right at home. Last year we were fortunate enough to go to 7 races: the Daytona 500, Atlanta Spring, Bristol's Dirt Race, Darlington Spring Race, Nashville Super Speedway, New Hampshire, and Martinsville Speedway. 2023 was our record number of race weekends we have been to, and that beat out 2022 where we had gone to 6 races. Now, we are not rich or wealthy by any definition, but we do budget accordingly and oftentimes loop in a vacation to a race that we travel to, especially faraway trips such as New Hampshire Motor Speedway last year. And a lot of our race trips are funded by what money we do make off of YouTube, and we do have full-time jobs as well, and we certainly would not be able to go to as many races admittedly if I was not a YouTuber who covers NASCAR, as it does help that in most cases we are blessed to receive some form of inside access at races at tracks who trust us to produce our style of race weekend content. So that access also helps us afford more each year. But recently, while planning all of this, it's made me wonder, what would it cost an average person to attend every NASCAR Cup Series race in one season? And I mean the full cost. We're talking tickets, gas, rental cars, flights, etc. So to do this, let's define a few parameters here. First, while a lot of NASCAR fans may travel with a camper and camp during the weekend, we're going to assume that we do not have access to that, so we will need to find a place to stay for each race weekend, unless I deem it close enough to go in a single day. Next, as far as tickets, we're going to remove the ability for media access or VIP passes from this equation. This is solely to determine the cost for an average fan to attend all NASCAR Cup Series races, and we're going to do this for one solo fan, not a group, but one fan alone. So I am going to factor in the cheapest ticket available right now on this recording for each race according to Ticketmaster. Some will be able to buy new tickets from the track, but some races such as the Daytona 500 sell out well in advance, so we would have to buy the cheapest resale ticket available. And once again, we are looking for the cheapest price to get in. We aren't guaranteeing the seats will be great seats either. And just a reminder, this is only for the sake of attending the main NASCAR Cup Series races. So for Daytona, we aren't factoring in the duels either. That would just be the Daytona 500. And so after looking at all available ticket prices with a couple of things to note, one being that I could not find tickets for the final 2 races of the year just yet, so for those we are simply going off of the cheapest ticket available for Martinsville and Phoenix's spring events as well, so this number could still be higher. Now, the most expensive ticket that one would need to buy to be the cheapest ticket in right now is actually for Iowa Speedway. Currently the race is sold out, so you need to buy a resale ticket, and the cheapest one currently available is $462, and the rest of the top 5 tickets available is $415.18 for a guaranteed seat at the Chicago Street Course, which right now I can only seem to find in weekend packages. Third is $232 for the NASCAR All-Star race at North Wilkesboro Speedway, which again right now I could only find as part of a weekend package. And in fourth is $202 to attend a Daytona 500 with a resale ticket through Ticketmaster. And the 5th most expensive race to get in with the cheapest ticket available is the Bass Pro Shops night race at Bristol Motor Speedway at $111. The absolute cheapest ticket available across the board comes at Richmond Raceway at $25 to sit in the Chaos Corner, but you must be over 21 to sit in this area. So expect it to be cheap, but also expect it to get rowdy in the Chaos Corner. The grand total for the cheapest tickets available for each race is $3,206.68. And if I add about 10% to account for taxes and fees, that gives us a total of $3,527.35 just on tickets alone for the entire 2024 NASCAR Cup Series season, which gives us an average ticket price of $84.39 per race. Now that we know how much to spend on tickets, we now need to figure out how we are getting to and from the tracks. Where will we stay? If we would stay, or how long we would stay. Would we rent a car, fly, or would we drive our own car? How much can we allot for food? How much for gas? There's a lot to be answered for each weekend for the season. Now, let's get a couple of budgeting items out of the way first. Food and souvenirs for a journey of a lifetime. We must be a little strict on the budget here, so be smart in what you purchase. If that means you eat a ham and cheese sandwich one day because you wanted a nicer meal one time, then so be it. But for each race weekend for one person, let's set the budget at $100 for food per trip. So be smart, because with 38 races in the year, that is still a budget of $3,800 to eat on per year going to the races. Now, with a trip like this, I do think you should purchase something from each track you go to, but your limit is $25 per track. Now, while there is 38 races a year, this is actually split up among 27 tracks, so your yearly budget for souvenirs is $675 per year to buy something from each track, whether that's a shirt, hat, lapel pin, you name it. So right now we have a grand total of $8,002.35 in tickets, food, and souvenir allotment alone before we even establish the price of travel. So first things first, to get the travel cost, let's establish our base of origin. So in this case, we're going with Nashville, Tennessee. That's where I live, so it's the easiest to work with. Our home airport is B&A, the Nashville International Airport. If I fly, we're going to go through Southwest Airlines. That's my preferred airline, so we will stay consistent with that. And for rental cars, we will go through Budget's pricing, as they are also my go-to rental service. And when it comes to a place to stay, we're going to look at what I have found to be the cheapest and most efficient way to stay, and that's in an AirBNB, specifically a private room option through AirBNB. With the private room option, it is exactly what it sounds like. Somebody will rent you just one room in their home. You come and go as you please. Just be respectful of their home while you're there. I only stay with people rated as a super host, and I have never usually had a bad experience staying this way. And quite usually, the cost is very low for this option. So, not to bore you guys, but I have done the hard part already of factoring in what I found the cost to be, and we will just do this all at once for the end of year totals and not showcase these prices track by track. So I figured out that of the 38 race schedule, I would be flying to 26 of these races, and I can make 12 of these races work to drive to. In total, I would be spending $8,670 in flights for the 2024 NASCAR season, and it is worth noting that I could find flight prices for the first 36 races of the year. However, for the last 2 weeks, Martinsville and Phoenix, flight prices were not yet available upon writing this, so we just went off of the prices found to go in the spring. It is worth noting to anticipate this number being higher. Now when we fly, we need to drive still when we get there. So in rental cars, I found that I would be paying $3,377.33 to budget for rental cars for the year. Likewise, for most races, similar to the food cost, I have anticipated about $100 to be used for gas per track. Some races could be more, but some could be less. So with that, we're expecting $3,800 to be used towards gas for 2024. And finally, using AirBNB's private rooms, we can figure out how much lodging will cost for the season. Every race we fly to, except for COTA, we will be staying on average 2 nights. For COTA, the track is right next to the airport, and much like we plan to actually do this year, you could fly there and return that night. And likewise for the Airbnbs, there will be a number of trips where we drive that we should still get a place to stay, but there will be some that I would do in a one-day trip simply because I have done that as a one-day trip before. But anyways, my grand total for Airbnb came out to be $3,759 for 2024. Altogether, factoring in all the travel costs with flights, rental cars, lodging, and gas, my total came out to be $19,606.33. And with an added 10% for taxes, that number came out to $21,566.97 to expect to spend on travel costs. So with $21,566.97 for travel expenses, $3,527.35 for estimated ticket prices, $3,800 allotted for food on these trips, and $675 allotted for souvenir purchases to remember a trip of a lifetime like this, our expected cost to attend every NASCAR race during the 2024 season would be $29,569.32. Now, in case you didn't notice, we never even factored in the scenario where these races inevitably get rained out and ran the next day. For some of these, especially the flight ones, that's just a major risk you'll need to be willing to take and accept. However, for the sake of this video, let's just factor in this and round up an extra $1,500, and we will just say that you need $31,000 set aside for the entire year to attend every NASCAR race and still have some for those emergency weather situations. Now, this particular formula also factors in that you still live somewhere and are constantly returning home. So to do this my way, well, I hope you either have a really great job, you're retired, or you've perhaps won the lottery, because the cost of living stops rising for no man. But could there be ways to save more money on this? Yes, especially if you're willing to drive everywhere and sleep in your car, and this has been done recently as well. Jeff Gluck wrote a great article for The Athletic back in October of 2022 about NASCAR fan Chris Cownans, who did just that. He attended every NASCAR race for the 2022 season. Cownans had recently went through the end of his marriage the year before, and he said it offered him a chance to reset and refresh his life. At 29 years old, and after realizing he had lost his passion for his job as a financial advisor, he said it was time to achieve his lifelong dream and travel the entire NASCAR Cup Series tour. With just weeks to spare before the start of the 2022 NASCAR season, he bought a black 2019 Chevy Silverado with a 6.5-foot bed. He watched YouTube videos on how to get the most space out of it on the inside, and he built his new home on wheels. Now, during the process of his divorce, Cownans and his ex-wife sold their house, which was said to do two things according to Gluck's article. In the midst of a housing boom, with houses selling for well above their previously purchased value, it left Chris with enough funding to quit his job for 1 year and hit the road for the entire NASCAR season, and it forced him to seriously downsize his life. He went from an 1,800 square foot house to an approximate 30 square foot truck bed, which took him about a month to eventually get his Silverado fully transformed into a home on wheels. Equipped with a 3-inch foam mattress that sat atop a piece of plywood supported by 2x4s with enough room for some storage underneath, Chris had all that he needed to drive from place to place. And there's still a lot more cool parts to read in Jeff's full article, so I'll link that in the description of this video, and you can read up on Chris's crazy journey to live out many NASCAR fans' dream. On my community tab, I had also asked you guys how much you thought it would cost to do this, and you all left a wide variety of answers. Quite a few guessed a range of between $25,000 to $35,000, to which you were right. We came to the conclusion of needing $31,000 to do this. But some considered living much more modestly. Billy88Joe17 said that they went to 6 races in 2023, keeping it very low budget and didn't travel more than 7 hours away, and they spent right around $1,000. So multiplying that by 6, they figured it would cost right at around 12 grand, which was interesting to hear from that perspective too. Some shot a little too high and too low. NASCAR Junk said $5,600. And to that I say, I wish it could only cost that much, we'd all do it. The Mr. T Gamer said it would cost $1 million. And to that I say, I wish I had $1 million. There's a lot more things in life I'd do besides just going to races. There's a wide variety of different responses in that thread on my community tab, and I thank everyone who contributed, but one in particular really struck me that I wanted to highlight, and it's actually the most recent response in that thread. A user going by Scable EQ7BP said that he and his wife attended every race of the 2019 season, camping at off-site campgrounds, which were much more affordable than campsites at the track and obviously a lot less crowded. They spent an average of $3,000 per race for everything and had a monthly budget of $55,000, but never came close to spending that much each month. And yes, I verified that. I thought he meant $5,000, but no, it was in fact a monthly budget of $55,000. Not to say too much, but I had to ask how they achieved that budget. I mean, I don't even make that much per year. Well, he said he and his wife are both retired military and both now work as program analysts for the Department of Defense, which is a cool job that, as one can clearly see, pays very well. And it's a job that they can both do from the road. They also made some smart and safe stock investments, mainly in military defense stock, So which, that really helps to know what you're investing in and the way that they seem to do by working in it. So yeah, those were just some of the very interesting stories that I wanted to share in relation to the main question at hand. So in conclusion, how much does it cost to attend every NASCAR Cup Series race? Well, I guess the answer just seems to be that it really all depends on how much you are willing to spend on a journey as big as this. As you can see from the story of Chris Cowlands, you can do this and live more modestly, but had it not been for the excess money from selling his former house, that journey may not have been feasible. Or you can be like the man and woman in my comment section and be blessed financially with a great job that allows you to be mobile and have a great monthly budget. But from my perspective, my findings found that a good, safe number would be around $31,000. But that's not factoring in your still existing cost of living. So if that means you're couch surfing with friends for a year, living with family, still having your own place, that extra number is up to your own interpretation. It's a goal that many NASCAR fans would love to achieve. It's one that many working in the industry are blessed to be able to do every year and be paid to do so. But for me, it's likely a dream that will remain a dream as my wife and I try to slowly cross off every track off of our bucket list one year at a time. Would we love to do it? Absolutely. But we'd also likely have to either do something very stupid and sell everything and quit our jobs, or we would need a major financial sponsor, and I don't see either of those happening anytime soon, nor do I expect to find that winning Powerball ticket either. But let me know down in the comment section what you think. Is this something you'd love to afford to do one day? Have you ever done this before? And if so, how much did it cost? What did you do to make it work? I'd love to hear from you down below. My name is Danny B. Enjoy the 2024 NASCAR season, and if you're new here, be sure to give me a subscribe and click that notification bell so that you never miss another new video right here on DannyBTalks. And until next time, I hope you have a great day. Bye guys.